You as a person, you as an entrepreneur, you as a mother, a daughter, and a friend. Very friendly, like you talk to a best friend. How is it? Can you tell me more about your relationship at home?
The other way around. Appa na very friendly.
Oh, really?
Amma na romba strict because Appa was always busy.
The Pooja that you were about maybe, I say 7-8 years back, the Pooja you are today, you're the first child in the family. There are a lot of pros and cons of being a first child. How did you look at it? How are you looking at it now?
For me to be a mother to Amulya, it has a lot of impact from what I was with my siblings. So அதனால எனக்கு அமுல்யா பிறக்கும்போது
How EITA came into play?
because I think EITA was an idea definitely because of Amul. So in EITA வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா that's exclusively for kids from age 4 and above, right? So we want to educate them about emotional intelligence and we do it through different expressive art forms.
Right.
So reason behind it is இப்போ இருக்க generation. So Solomon, I'm just like how simple life is. Like what are we running behind? What are we working for? What are we? Why do we have that rush towards something in life already when we're not able to acknowledge or find happiness in small things that so many people do for us on a day-to-day basis?
Correct.
I think on the gratitude and the vision. So these are things that I learned from her and it comes naturally for her. So that way I feel like
During challenging times, seeking inspiration from others can be a very powerful tool for personal growth. Hello, I'm Gayathri Prakash and you are watching Brewing Inspirations by Brewing Reflections. I believe in the power of drawing inspiration from others. During challenging times, I have myself turned to those close to me for guidance. Recognizing that not everyone has this support, I created this platform to share diverse stories and strategies, acknowledging that inspiration is unique to each individual. Come join me in this journey. With me today is a young leader and a fearless advocate for mental health. In a world that often shies away from discussing mental health, she steps in with courage and conviction, making her a true trailblazer of our time. She's the driving force behind the Love Hope Company, a venture dedicated to transforming mental wellness through accessible support and impactful programs like emotional intelligence through arts for children. She stands for women's empowerment, for breaking barriers, for bringing hope where it's needed the most. Beyond her years and wise beyond measure, she's a rock-solid personality, a person with her heart in her hand and no two ways about who she is. She sure is my pillar of support. Pooja SrinivasaRaja. Pooja SrinivasaRaja. So, I've known you a few years now and I can confidently say you are that one person in my life that gives me a lot of strength to go on with things that I'm so passionate about. And today I think this podcast is not possible without you. I think you're a big piece of this whole puzzle, which I'm still, kind of discovering. So I want to, in the episode, I wanted to reflect you as a person, you as an entrepreneur, you as a mother, a daughter, and a friend. So here we go. The first thing, Pooj, your relationship with your dad is a very respectful one. ஆனால் அதே ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் அம்மாவோட ஒரு very friendly, like you talk to a best friend. How is it? Can you tell me more about your relationship at home?
I think my relationship with my parents has like evolved over time. It has not always been the same from the beginning. Especially with my mother, I think when I was very young or until my early 20s, it was very ரொம்ப ஸ்கேரியான ஒரு ரிலேஷன். அம்மா ரொம்ப strict. Actually, it was the other way around. Appa na very friendly.
Oh, really?
Amma na ரொம்ப strict because Appa was always busy. He was not around much. So the limited time we had, it was always a good one.
Pampering.
Like hanging out, traveling, அந்த மாதிரி. Or he's never said no to anything. So Appa கிட்ட போனா நம்மளுக்கு என்ன வேணுமோ கிடைக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி and we've always looked up to him as a very for what he's built in his life and what he has gone through in his journey and what he's been doing for not just for himself and not just for the brand, for the stakeholders of the brand as well, for the employees, for the customers, for the suppliers. அந்த மாதிரி வந்து ஒரு அப்பா வந்து ஒரு பெரிய இன்ஸ்பிரேஷனா he's always been there for us. With Amma, she was the strict one. Discipline கொண்டு வரது, சில விஷயம் வந்து டைமுக்கு பண்ண வைக்கிறது, அது எல்லாமே வந்து she was always the strict one-னால அம்மானா கொஞ்சம் ஒரு பயம் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். But I think over time, in the late 20s லாம் வந்துட்டு when reality of life happened, we became very close because the more we got vulnerable with her, she started talking about why she was a certain way while she was raising us.
Right.
She was also a mother at a very young age. Like she had me, I think, when she was around 20 or 21.
Oh, wow.
And she had like 4 kids back to back.
My
My sisters, my siblings, not much of time or age difference. So, ipo me also being a young mother, I understand that on the age la, on the time la, ungalku irukka understanding la, what she felt was right for us and for the family, she had to do it. And over time, when she also understood how we are, or when she made the effort to understand who we are as individuals and what, why we decide or why we make certain decisions, she became more understanding, or she gave us a space to express ourselves more without being that strict parent who constantly says do this or don't do that. She was more of or mari keka aramchitanga nariya. She let us do our own thing, and I think on the space kudukka she became our safe space, like to go to talk to her for any matter, like any situations, work ah irukattum, personal life ah irukattum, anything about friends, day to day. அது வந்து ஒரு கம்ஃபர்டபுள் ஸ்பேஸாக இருக்கும் for us to go talk. கரெக்டான டைமில் கரெக்டான விஷயம் சொல்லுவாங்க. I think she has that, I would say, a power from the beginning, because I've heard a lot of conversation between my dad and my mom. Appa வந்து always in his good place or best time of his life சரி, இல்லை whenever he's going through something, he's always come back to my mom. அவர் வந்து ஊரில் இருந்தாலும் ட்ராவல் பண்ணாலும் every day morning they talk to each other over phone. They've had like a very interesting relationship with each other.
Okay.
And whenever my dad is going through something, my mom knows what to say, or to say the right things to push him or to give him that strength at that point of time. நம்ம வந்து ஒரு கஷ்டத்தில் இருக்கும்போது நம்ம எப்பவுமே வந்துட்டு we'll think that நம்ம இது சரியா பண்ணியிருக்கலாம், அது பண்ணியிருக்கலாம், ஒரு இங்கே நம்ம தப்பு பண்ணிட்டோம் அப்படின்னு. But to have someone to just listen and say, no, but you've done so much more, and this is just once or a hiccup that is in your journey, and you can, this will pass. அப்படின்னு இன்னொருத்தவங்க நம்மளுக்கு சொல்லும்போது, or when that's your life partner, I think it's a different ball game altogether. The kind of mindset that it would give you.
That companionship, no, what you're talking about, is not very simple in this age and time.
Correct. And I think she's always been that person for him, and now she's doing that for us as well.
I was just going to say, come to your
exactly. So age difference or generation gap engalukku vandha adla she's way more progressive, I would say, than me in a lot of things. The kind of books she reads, the kind of movies she watches, the kind of interaction she has with us. I think the main reason for her to get here is she's open to unlearn a lot of things. எங்கள் காலத்தில் நாங்கள் அப்படி இருந்தோம், திஸ் ஒர்க் அவுட் ஃபார் மீ, ஸோ நீ இதை பண்ணுன்றது சொல்லுறது ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டாங்க அவங்க. ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் தட் திங் சேஞ்ச் இன் ஹர், it has made us have a very healthy relationship.
She's very inquisitive as a
a
human being.
Yes,
I would say overall, or when you see her, you feel like you're not talking to a person who is of that certain age. You feel like you're talking to somebody younger to you sometimes. No, a fresh thought coming from somebody of that age. It's so interesting. It's I think that's something that I see across all of you siblings. So I did want to ask you, இப்போ வந்து the Pooja that you were about maybe I say 7-8 years back to the Pooja you are today, certain things still remain. You're the first child in the family. It comes with a lot of responsibility. It also has a lot of cons. Responsibility, you can look at it as a pro and a con, but there are a lot of pros and cons of being a first child. How did you look at it? How are you looking at it now?
எனக்கு ஐ திங்க் பிகாஸ் என்னோட சிப்ளிங்ஸ்க்கு எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஏஜ் டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் இல்லாததுனால ஐ டென்ட் ஃபீல் தட் ப்ரெஷர் ஆஃப் பீங் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பார்ன், பட் ஐவ் ஆல்வேஸ் ஃபெல்ட் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிள் நேச்சுரலி, எஸ்பெஷலி வித் மை யங்கர் லாஸ்ட் 2 சிப்ளிங்ஸ்லாம் வந்துட்டு எனக்கு அவங்க ஃப்ரம் அ வெரி யங் ஏஜ், ஐ டோன்ட் நோ, ஐ ஹேட் தட் மதர்லி ஃபீலிங் வித் தெம். But I have done a lot of things, not just as a sister, but I've been there as or a mother, support mari for them. So pressure as such irundadla, but enakke or natural responsibility I've always taken that up on me, because even when something goes on within the family, I've always stepped up to be there for my parents, or make sure my siblings are not affected with what's happening, or they don't think too much abindrathu nane I've always taken that up. I think that's that in me as a personality. But எனக்கு வந்து I think for me to be a mother to Amulya, it has a lot of impact from what I was with my siblings. So அதனால எனக்கு அமுல்யா பிறக்கும்போது being a mother was not a new feeling, I would say. It just came naturally to me because maybe I had 3 younger siblings and I've had a very different relationship. I'm not trying to say like we never fight, எப்பவுமே நான் பயங்கர அதெல்லாம் எல்லாமே இருக்கும், all the drama, fight, everything has been there, but core the kind of things or intentions that I have for them, or things that makes me happy when they do something, it was always the motherly feeling, and when it was with Amul, it's very it just felt natural to me, and I see that with my siblings relationship and Amulya now.
With Amul,
they have that motherly feeling with her, and I think when they become parents at some point,
this will
I
give
think
them
that'll be natural for them. So
and this is something with my sister I've always felt, anything I'll just run to her. சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து யாராவது இப்போ என்கிட்ட ஏதாவது ரூடா பேசிட்டாங்கன்னா I used to go into கச்சு கொஞ்சம் just help me out, வா I'll hit them, I'll bash them ஒரு மாதிரி I think like you said, that responsibility comes so naturally to be that bigger sister, bigger brother, to take care of your younger sibling, at a vulnerable stage. Is it ever a burden?
I don't think it was a burden for me. Maybe ஒரு சில டைம் வந்துட்டு I've had the feeling of நம்மள யாராவது இப்படி பார்த்துக்க மாட்டாங்களா, நம்மளுக்கு யாரும் இப்படி இருக்கு, அந்த மாதிரி here and there I've had those feelings, but I've never felt it as a burden.
Never.
Because I've taken that, it was not forced upon me. It was something that I liked doing, and I wanted to be there for my family, for my parents, for my siblings, and I always will continue to do that. On and off, சில விஷயம், even with my personal journey, when I had to take a step back, but I always wanted to be there, and when I know that they need me, I've never not wanted to be there for them. So I think
your heart is always in the right place with regards to family. See, because this is something that to have a nice family, to retain that nice family, to be a part of that nice family, it is a lot of effort. There is no doubt about it, because everyone, eventually we all grow apart, but pulling ourselves back to being there. So one of the questions I did want to ask you about is your relationship with Amul. And how has it come along? And you spoke about your siblings' relationship with Amul. Tell me more about it, because I'm always very curious.
I think ever since Amul was born 2018, that was like a rebirth phase for me as well. I think I became a very different person when I became mother of Amulya. எனக்கு கான்ஸ்டண்ட்டாக ஒரு ரிமைண்டர் that constantly kept happening in this whole motherhood journey is that if I don't take care of myself, if I am not happy, I cannot do what I want to do for my child or for my family for that matter. So I started focusing more on myself and doing things more that makes me feel content, makes me feel satisfied with whatever journey that I want to take, making mistakes, but making sure that it's my decision to take that journey up. The more and more I do that, I also see how differently Amulya has been looking at me. The way I looked at my mother and the way she is looking at me, and how she observes life in general has been very, very different. So எனக்கு அதுவே ரொம்ப ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்டான எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸாக இருக்கும். சின்ன சின்ன கான்வர்சேஷன்ஸில் how normally she talks about certain things, but how that feels like, oh, as a mother அதெல்லாம் அப்படி இருக்கணும் இல்லாமல் அவளுக்கு அது ரொம்ப கேஷுவலாக இருக்குது. A lot of times when I have this guilt trip of not spending a lot of time with her, அவள் she understands. In case, in fact, என்னோட சிப்ளிங்ஸ் யாராவது சும்மா விளையாடுறத நான் தான் உனக்கு அம்மா மாதிரி இருக்கோம், அம்மா அவங்க கூட டைமே ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க, ஆனால் அவங்க அம்மா வந்தால் நீ எப்பவுமே அவங்க பின்னாடி தான் போகிற அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது she'll be like, that's because my mom's running Love Hope company, she's busy, she has to take care of the company, she has to take care of the people who come there, so she is busy அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது, I mean, as a daughter, நான் எங்கள் அம்மா பிஸியாக இருக்கும்போது I didn't look at her decision like that. சரி இருந்திருக்கலாமே, அம்மா கூட டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறது அப்படி தான் நான் யோசிச்சிருக்கேன். பட் the way how Amulya looks at it, and she's just 6 years old.
My God.
இது சொல்லி கொடுத்து வரல அவளுக்கு. But it's very interesting that, so எனக்கு இது push ஆகுது இன்னும், that okay, she's looking at me as something, and she's looking at Love Hope, the initiative that we're doing. She understands maybe to an extent the purpose behind why we're doing this. So அது இன்னும் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிள் எடுத்து போகணும்.
I think she also understands that you're a mother of two, in the sense that she sees so much value in what you do. நீ சொன்ன மாதிரி தான், when I was younger, Amma was always working, and I would think that, why am I not so, but I always had the setup of my grandparents with me.
Right.
Always protect. Today my favorite memories are only with my grandparents, but that doesn't mean I love my parents any less, even though they were traveling all the time or working all the time. So this sort of understanding in a 6-year-old child, the way that things have transformed from when we used to be younger to what it is now, it's so refreshing to look at it. And how is she with your siblings?
Oh, they have a very amazing relationship, I think, because they get to spend a lot of time together. And in fact, இப்போ எல்லாருமே 3 பேருமே much younger to me, but they also understand the life that I have chosen, and the time demand that I have to take care of the business that I'm running. So they have never cribbed about நான் ஏன் பார்த்துக்கணும், or I have other plans. Like they have cancelled so many plans with their friends just to make sure Amul is there. And luckily, since I have 3 people, my brother's he's there in Australia, but 2 sisters சரி, அம்மாவும் சரி, அப்பாவுமே for that matter, he makes a lot of time for her, which as a father he wasn't able to do that while we were younger. So even if it's the small konja nera irundhalum sari or a weekend mattum vandhalum sari, they've made sure they give that time for her. So on the mutual efforts irukadnala it's easy for me. I don't think if this was not there for me, நான் பண்ணணும்னு ஆசைப்படுற விஷயம் என்னால் பண்ணியிருக்க முடியுமான்னு ஐ திங்க் இட்ஸ் a big question mark. And இது எதுவுமே வந்து நான் உங்ககிட்ட வந்து ப்ளீஸ் எனக்காக பண்ணுறீங்களா, நான் இது ஆசைப்படுறேன், I want to take this journey. We've never had a conversation. The more and more they gave me the space to they made sure that Amul was okay, the more and more I was able to put my time and energy here. So just like Kennedy flew, so Amulya mattu illa my siblings sari, my mother, my parents for that matter, all of them knew that I wanted to do something by myself which made me feel happy, and there's a bigger purpose behind it. So they were okay with doing this for me, for Amul, and they made sure she is also fine in this process. Like tomorrow she shouldn't feel like okay, someone is not there for me, because again, because it's a single parenting journey, it's very important at least that one person being there.
Correct.
So I feel parents ன்றது வந்துட்டு அப்பா அம்மாவா இருந்தா மட்டும் தான் அந்த குழந்தைக்கு வந்து அந்த satisfaction and the happiness or அந்த content கொடுக்கணும்னு அவசியம்.
Definitely not.
Any relationship who is making that time and effort and making sure that the child is feeling seen or heard or understood, because end of the day it's avladhan, they have an expectation with us. They don't like you, or they don't want to be with you because of the number of toys you get them or the number of vacations you take them out for. அவங்களுக்கு வேணுன்றப்போ கேட்கறதுக்கு ஒரு ஆள் இருக்காங்க. அது வந்து என்னால் ஒரு டே 1 hour தான் கொடுக்க முடிஞ்சாலும் that 1 hour when I'm there for her, I feel that is working out for her at least till now. So
absolutely,
that's how my parenting journey is.
That's amazing. And tell me one thing that you've learned from Amul.
With Amul, I think it's finding happiness in small things, which is something that I didn't have, and I'm still learning from her. Like I said, அவளுக்கு வந்து ஒரு பெரிய மெட்டீரியலிஸ்டிக்காக ஒரு விஷயம் கொடுத்தாதான், இல்லை எல்லா தடவை வீக்கெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து அவளை வெளில கூப்பிட்டு போனாதான், இல்லை ஒரு வெக்கேஷன் பிளான் பண்ணாதான் அவளுக்கு வந்துட்டு ஹாப்பினஸ்ன்னு கிடையாது. ஸோ ஸ்மால் திங்ஸ் லைக் தி அதர் டே which is watching a movie together, she had a lot of questions about the movie. ஸோ நான் பாஸ் பண்ணி அவளுக்கு வந்து நிறைய வந்து அந்த மூவி பற்றி எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். And then she had her play date with her friends and all of that. So every night, if I'm there with her to put her to sleep, I generally ask her, how was your day and what did you do? What did you like about your day and everything. For her, this one memory stuck, and she said, because this happened, I'm very happy today.
Wow.
இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய சொல்லியிருக்கேன். அந்த மாதிரி வந்துட்டு அவளோட நானி வந்து அவளுக்கு பண்ண ஒரு கார்டு வந்து கொடுத்துருக்காங்க போல. ஸோ அதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுட்டு she used to tell me, she made me this card, I didn't expect that from her, so I'm very happy அப்படின்னு. So சொல்லும் போது I'm just like, how simple life is. Like, what are we running behind? What are we working for?
Correct.
What are we... Why do we have that rush towards something in life already when we're not able to acknowledge or find happiness in small things that so many people do for us on a day-to-day basis?
Correct.
I think and the gratitude in the vision. So these are things that I learned from her, and it comes naturally for her. So that way I feel like it's working out.
It's so beautiful, no? So you know, it's like a beautiful flower blossoming, and children are so expressive these days.
Yeah.
The Amul that was to the Amul that is right now, that itself is a beautiful transition. And I see evlo oru Araga, she's adapted to her own situation like any other child is doing today. There's so much clarity in thought. They know what exactly they want, they know how to talk about it. Right. So that's something that I feel our generation was lacking quite a bit. Ilya. So moving from there, Pooja, tell me about your entrepreneurial journey. Why I ask is, you come from a very significant family in our society today, where things are pretty set, and if you chose to, you could have taken the easier, I won't say easiest path, but easier path to be comfortable wherever you were. But you are chasing a dream, not a simple dream of just coming up with some idea and running behind it, but to bring clarity of thought and mental wellness, which is a very touchy subject, right? How is it that you have brought yourself to do this beyond the comforts that are always available if you choose to have it?
I think it's a calling, I would say. It is more to do with the purpose also. Because I've been on the other side of going through these mental issues as well, right? Mental illnesses. It was not easy to first understand what I was going through, because we've never had any conversation or education or anything of that sort about mental health as such. If COVID kalisna, all of us talk about this word, of mental health, anxiety and all of that. But 2018, after I had Amul, I went into a phase of postpartum depression. And then I've also had experience with anxiety, and anxiety it's part of my life. So on the stage, on the first to understand what I was going through was very, very hard, and then to reach out for help and support was மெஷர் பண்ண முடியாத ஒரு பெயின். என்னால் பெயின்னு சொல்ல முடியும், பட் ஐ கான்ட் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் ஹவு பெயின்ஃபுல் த ஜர்னி வாஸ் ஃபார் மீ. அண்ட் தென் த அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் ஒர்க் ஐ ஹேட் டு டூ டு கெட் அவுட் ஆஃப் இட். It's not just a one day thing. It's not like a pill you can take and you feel better in a couple of days, Mari. So it was a lot of work to do. And the more I did that, I understood how I changed as a person, which is very fascinating. ஒரு குக்கூன்லேருந்து வெளில வந்து ஒரு பட்டர்ஃப்ளை மாதிரி தான். It felt so free. It felt so nice. It gave a lot of understanding about how normalized things are for us to live for other people or live for the society, because society has certain expectations of you. While you're a woman, you need to do this in the age la dhanam pannanum idla irundha you're the good girl. Correct. Otherwise you're not good for the family or kudumbathoda pera kedukra and mari வந்து lot of labels that the society has for us. But does the society know the journey that you've taken every single day? No. So why do I care about it? And who is the society? 50 people, 100 people around us, 200 people around us. Do they actually care so much about you on every day basis? அவங்கள பார்க்கும்போது they pass a comment, but do they actually go home, think about chapao இந்த பொண்ணு இப்படி பண்ணியிருக்கா, இப்படி கரெக்டாக பண்ணிருக்கலாம், அப்படி பண்ணிருக்கலாம்? No, they actually don't, because everyone has so many other things going on in life.
Absolutely.
But why do we sit and crib about ஒரு comment ஒருத்தவங்க சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா it's having such a huge impact in our life. And அதை சரி பண்ணுறதுக்கோ இல்லை வந்து அதோட வேலிடேஷன் மற்றவங்க கிட்ட நம்ம எதிர்பார்த்து why are we stressing so much? இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் I got to know through my therapy journey. And the more and more I started talking about it, I understood there were a lot of people who are going through similar stories or similar journey. And there are also a lot of people who didn't understand how beautiful this process is. இப்போ வரைக்கும் கூட நிறைய people வந்து why don't you try therapy அப்படின்னா, ஐயோ அது மட்டும் நான் பண்ண மாட்டேன், இன்னும் அந்த அளவுக்கு நான் வந்து பைத்தியமா இல்லை மோசமா இல்லைன்னுலாம் சொல்லும்போது, why do you want to get to that stage to get help? Like this should be so normal and so it's a beautiful journey that anyone wants to take, right?
Absolutely.
So அந்த விஷயத்தெல்லாம் break பண்ணணும்னு தான் was my motive.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just not about going, sitting and talking to a therapist. It's a beautiful experience altogether. But for some reason, people have a negative outlook on mental health care. So அதை break பண்ணுறது ஒரு மெயின் மோட்டிவாக வச்சு தான் I started Love Hope Company. From the space, from the team we are working with, from the kind of therapist we have in place, we want to make sure that people have a very positive experience no matter what the journey is.
Yeah.
No matter them having any form of mental illness. For them to come or make an effort to reach out for support should not seem hard or should not seem okay வெளில சொல்லக்கூடாது, எனக்கு வந்து யாராவது தப்பாக நினச்சிப்பாங்க இல்லாமல் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் கொடுக்கணும். They should feel proud to say that yes, I'm doing this and I'm feeling better or என்னோட ஜேர்னி எப்படி இருக்குன்னு. So that was the core point. And அது ஏன் யாரும் வந்து ஜாஸ்தி பேச மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க, ஏன் அது இல்லைன்றதும் எனக்கு தெரியல. Because one way that I'm lucky is as much as I didn't know about mental health, I also didn't know that there was stigma around mental health. So எனக்கு இது நார்மலாக என் லைஃப்பில் நடந்த ஒரு விஷயத்தை நான் பேசும்போது தான் இவ்வளோ வந்து நெகட்டிவாக பார்க்குறாங்க. அது ஏன் இவ்வளோ நெகட்டிவாக பார்க்குறாங்க இன்னைக்கு வரைக்குமே எனக்கு ஒரு கியூரியாசிட்டியானதாக இருக்குது. So when someone says that I don't talk to a therapist or I don't this, I ask them like, why don't you do it? What do you think is going to go wrong? So I have conversations like that, and then the more and more I question them, then they're like, ஆமாம்ல கரெக்ட் தான், இது ஒன்றும் அவ்வளோ மோசமான விஷயம் நம்மளுக்குமே தெரியாமல் இட்ஸ் லைக் வேண்டாம் அது நம்ம பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்றது வந்து மேபி because of media influence or the movies that we've watched growing up or the lifestyle that we've had within our families, could be multiple reasons.
And I think one of the main things is we've never been taught to ask for help.
Yeah.
எங்கேயோ உள்ள கேட்டுட்டா நம்ம வந்து குறைஞ்சிடுவோமோ.
And we were not allowed to express ourselves. Exactly. Also in the first place. While we were growing up, we were always told what to do or what not to do.
Exactly.
But no one has ever asked what we want to do.
Correct.
So adanaale and or close confined le nam valandu now when people are having education as a power, financial independence as a power, a lot of people are vocal about certain things, and then this has become or mode for them to reach out for support. So adanaal da yen previous generation ku ipo ku yen mental health pathila appo illa ipo yen pesona, that's the only thing. Earlier days we were not allowed to talk, or we didn't have a common platform like social media today to share our experience. Definitely. And collectively come together for Definitely. A good cause. I think all this has created an impact on why mental health is a subject today. Absolutely. And the more and more this happened, I also felt idu positive or tone la dhaan ellarume paakano, it should not be looked upon. So that is how I felt, and I was always like driven towards mental health for some reason. Enakku psychology background kadiyadhu. I never thought this would be my career choice on some level, because I've always thought family business appadha na padichadhu ellame, that was the thing. I think over the time, over journey, because of my experience with mental illness, I understood that even if it's 100 people going through similar experience, they shouldn't be going through it. Like they should have a space to get help, because it's very, very hard and painful.
Definitely. And I think it should be viewed as something like you go to a physician.
Yeah.
This is as good as that.
Yeah.
You need to go. I mean, your mind is a part of your body. It's no different here. One more thing I did observe about you and your siblings is that all of you have chosen a very beautiful way of doing your own things. So both your sisters, they also have something that they are pursuing, right? What is the mindset? I mean, I love that, you guys are never in that comfort zone. You don't want to be, just, I enjoy pantu poren. I can own the world. But I will choose the path. I won't say for difficulty, but I will choose a path that drives me. And or pull. Where is it stemming from?
I think it was majorly post-COVID, guy. Post-COVID, we were in a zone where we wanted to chase things that was making us happy, and we were experimenting a lot. Experiment this was our calling, or this is something I like, and we understood. But also, luckily, we were blessed with parents who let us explore. Yes, we've had arguments of idu panla, but we've never had don't do this as a a command or anything from our parents. And நினைச்சிருந்தவங்க பண்ணிருக்கலாம், அந்த ஸ்டாப் போட்டுருந்தா நாங்களும் அவ்வளோ எஃபர்ட் போட்டிருக்க மாட்டோம் beyond the point.
Correct.
இப்போ வரைக்குமே what they have expectation to balance what we have built while also building what you want அப்படின்றது. மற்றபடி they've never no பண்ணவே கூடாது this, because they also made an effort to understand us, and they also understand that we're not, because there are so many options today that we could have chose anything we want.
Correct.
வேற தப்பான விஷயங்கள் பண்ணி கூட நாங்கள் எனக்கு இதுதான் சந்தோஷம் கூட நம்ம சொல்லியிருக்கலாம். But for some reason, luckily, we chose something that is good for us and for people around us, right?
Yeah.
So that they understood that, and they understood the passion behind why we are doing certain things. So I think it comes from a lot of reciprocative space, and to listen to each other. And the listen to the over the table, peaceful conversation we've had gone back and forth, but over time I think they've realized that we need to give them the space, and the more and more space we've taken it up as more and more responsibility. Like ishtathukku edho onu pannama, like you said, we have a family name, we have that responsibility to make sure அந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம இல்லனாலும் அந்த பேரை நம்ம கெடுக்காம இருக்கிற அளவுக்கு நம்ம ஒன்னு பண்ணனும்ன்றது இந்த ஸ்பேஸ் கொடுத்ததனால we took it up as a responsibility. And so I think that has worked for my siblings as well.
Yeah, freedom I think comes with a lot of responsibility, right? When your parent gives you a little bit of that, and the kite oda rope maradana, or very quiet rope, you need that, pull and push. That's how it kind of flows, and that sort of responsibility comes when there is so much of freedom as well.
Right.
So I think it's just beautiful to see this whole thing happening. I want you to tell me about the decision you made, if you don't mind me asking this, to separate at the age of 25 with a toddler in hand. To come to that decision required understanding of yourself. I've seen you post-separation. That's when I met you for the first time. But I want to know the journey between understanding yourself and the decision you made for you and Amul at that age, which is very young according to me. How did you come to that point?
I think the decision of separation was not something that I decided or something I chose. I was pushed to that.
Okay.
But after that, in our journey until we had like a legal divorce done, that has been a very interesting journey. Once you know that this is not something that you can have for life, and you have to figure something out by yourself, while you also take in the society judgments that come with it. Well, also because I've never wanted to put anyone down in this process. I've never wanted to say bad things or over-explain or explain whatever happened between us, right? It's a decision that we've taken. Whether I like it or not, so this is what is going to happen. What is the best that I could do, because of this decision, I don't want my daughter to miss out on anything in life. I was very specific about it. And I also felt like rather than being in an unhappy space, coming out, being by yourself and having a better, happy life, even though it's hard, it gives a different environment for the child to grow up. Constantly seeing you unhappy, constantly fighting for things to make you happy is two different things.
Correct.
So I think the understanding post my separation, over time with over experiences, like this is what I want to do. I don't know what my end goal is. I don't know where my destination is, but this is how my journey should look into or clarity over time I had. I think it also came with a lot of people I met post my separation. I was in a very cocoon la da irundha, nariya friends oda andha interact pannadhu kadiyadu, because COVID happened, and then I had Amul at a very early age, so my life was constantly busy around something or the other. Post 25, I think Amulya mari nanu oru kolandha mari da, both of us were like let like that figure out your life in ஒரு zone la da irundhom. So I think we had each other at that point. Appo that was the strength that I had because சின்ன விஷயம் பண்ணும்போது அவ சிரிச்சா எனக்கு அது ரொம்ப ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கும். அவள் சடனாக வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு பப்பி ஒரு வீடியோவில் பார்த்து பப்பி வேணும்னு கேட்டான்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவளுக்கு ஒன்று வாங்கி கொடுத்தேன். தட் அவளுக்கு சந்தோஷம் இருக்கா. ஓகே இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம வந்து I was happy to feel that on some level I'm blessed to at least give this happiness for her. அவளுக்கு வேண்டிய ஒரு விஷயம் என்னால் கொடுக்க முடியுது. What are the other things that she would need? Emotionally, what kind of support she would need? What kind of environment should she have? Appo more we got very close with my family. அவங்களோட involvement நிறைய உள்ள வந்துச்சு. I think I also connected with right kind of people around me, like you and a lot of other people, friends that I made post my separation. எதுவுமே வந்து பிளான் பண்ணி வந்ததில்லை. But I attracted the right kind of people. So I felt like once you let go of something that is not working for you and you're open to attracting the right things, it will all fall in place.
Absolutely.
I think that is what happened to me. And on the time I meet panna people, Neengla Irukattum Sari or my neighbor and all of them, you guys have always gone out of the way to be there for me and Amul. And இதுமே வந்து நம்ம எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணி or வந்து எனக்கு நீங்க பண்ணணும்னு கேட்ட வந்த விஷயம் கிடையாது.
And it has always been a two-way journey. Don't think the other way, but
like I think at least in today's time it's not something that you easily find with people. You need to find the right kind of people who always go above and beyond for you without any expectations at least. So other one that I think luckily attracted those kind of right people in my life, and inni korikku adu it's continuing, and Amol is also seeing that. So that way we don't feel alone in this journey. We always know that we have people for us.
Absolutely.
And like I said, destination என்னன்னு தெரியலனாலும் the journey will be fine no matter what. ன்ற ஒரு நம்பிக்கை வந்து over time has
confidence
come.
ஆமா.
So I think that is more than enough at least to take up this journey at this point.
No, it's actually wonderful. Is that how EITA came into play?
Yes. EITA வந்து அமுல் இல்லைன்னா I don't think I would have had this idea of EITA because
sorry, just one second for the people watching. Can you explain what EITA is?
Yes. Because I think EITA was an idea definitely because of Amul. So EITA வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா that's exclusively for kids from age 4 and above, right? So we want to educate them about emotional intelligence and we do it through different expressive art forms. Right. So reason behind it is இப்போ இருக்கிற generation வந்துட்டு I think as parents நிறைய பேர் are open to let our kids explore or express themselves. But how do the kids know what to say, what not to say? How do they express themselves, right? So that is what we're trying to teach them or educate them here. ஒரு விஷயம் நடந்துச்சுன்னா how do they feel that in their body? How do they vocally communicate it through words? What are the right things to say? What are the right kind of support that they could look for? And சின்ன விஷயங்கள் ஒரு life skill மாதிரி mainly focusing on the emotional intelligence of a child is what we do at EITA. So again, like I said, with Amulya irundadnala, the kind of life that I want to give for my child, something that was missing in my childhood, and also in the therapy journey, ninga pathina as adults nare per ninga vandu inga pesumbodhu, most of the issues go back to your childhood.
Of course.
Right? And then you go reverse la you start working on certain things to understand why you react a certain way today, why do you make certain decisions a certain way today, and then you go through the whole journey of working on yourself and then you get better as a person. So நம்ம அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷனுக்கு why not give them that exposure at a very young age where they can understand certain things, where they can communicate certain things and they can reach out for support whenever they want to. That is the base idea of why we wanted to create EITA.
That's amazing. In fact, one thing that I personally feel is that bringing my first son, he's been here. Even yesterday he was telling me, can you take me to story class? In his mind it is story class. How beautifully that it comes together for them with focus on them completely. In a world where people are just talking about ADHD and your child has this problem, that problem, I feel like this space gives a lot of clarity for parents, young parents who are kind of figuring out how to go about it with a child, how to deal with normal things with a child. The exposure is so much higher now. So this is something that's really amazing. I love my experience at EITA personally, to put it. I also want you to tell me how you plan on expanding this. Now you're in Chennai, are you looking at broadening your
yes, definitely. So இப்போ சென்னையில் இருக்கிற சென்டர் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா டி நகர், it's more like an experience center with everything that we wanted to put in place. So eventually wherever there's a market opportunity, we are looking at scaling our business, especially with EITA. We want to keep it as an offline activity. And the digitalize பண்ற idea இப்போதைக்கு இல்லை, because we want to give the kids that hands-on experience, that attention, the space for them to be themselves apart from the regular classes and everything that they go. இங்க வந்து there's no like test, or there's no any more like evaluate have you progressed or anything. You can just be yourself as much as you want to.
Correct.
and explore certain things with us through the activities that we don't have certain conversations. And in that process, if we identify a child with any kind of need, then we also have a team to support them. So it's not just like we identify a child with certain kind of issues or autistic trait irukku, like ADHD trait irukku, we just don't go tell the parents that it's that, just go find someone. Inge vandu or end-to-end solution mari, since we are doing that way we feel that will also help the child or the health journey lume vandu will be there. And like you rightly said, most of our parents are like young parents, right? So we're still trying to figure things out. We want to do the best for our kids, but we don't know what is the right thing to do or what is the wrong thing to do. And I also feel there's no right or wrong in parenting.
There's also a lot of misinformation. For instance, schools sometimes, they just slip saying, there is something wrong with your child. And that works on our mind so much, because all we want to do is make the child happy, right? And the situation you feel like, oh my God, something is wrong. Even sometimes I feel that clarity comes when we bring them to a space that understands who they are, even if they don't have how to deal with their tantrums. Just to give us like that and the cues or guidance, Mari. That's how I felt when I was with EITA. So this is something that's really phenomenal. And Love Hope also, I think the kind of people you are attracting ranges from old age couple to youngsters. Can you tell me more about the Love Hope also?
I think Love Hope வந்து நிறைய விஷயம் that's opened eyes for me. Like I had a set of mindset like Love Hope-க்குன்னு இதுதான் ஆடியன்ஸ் இருக்கும், இந்த ஏஜ் குரூப் தான் இருப்பாங்க, பிகாஸ் இதுக்கு மேலே இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு they won't have an understanding about mental health. அந்த மாதிரி எனக்கே I had like few discussions and everything with our team. But very interestingly, I think lately, at least weekly once, we come across very different clientele who are so open, so happy when they come to the space, who are very happy to talk about their experience so boldly, which நிறைய பேர் வந்துட்டு நம்ம இங்கே வரோம் போகிறோன்னு கூட நம்ம சொல்ல மாட்டோம். So last week, like we had a lady who is 52 years old who's coming for an individual therapy session. அவங்க ஹாப்பியாக உள்ளே வந்தாங்க. அவங்க வந்துட்டு தெரபிஸ்ட் வந்துட்டாங்களா இல்லையா, ஓகே நோ ப்ராப்ளம், நான் உட்காரேன் அப்படின்னாங்க. ஷி டோன்ட் நோ தட் ஐ ரன் தி ஸ்பேஸ். நான் ஜென்ரலாக வந்து டீ காஃபி ஏதாவது குடிக்கிறீங்களா கேட்டுட்டு ஆஃப்டர் ஷி வெண்ட் அண்ட் ஐ ஆஸ்ட் மை டீம், கப்பிள்ஸ் கவுன்சிலிங் ஏதாவது வந்திருக்காங்களா, இல்லை வந்து ஏதாவது பேரண்ட் சைல்ட் கவுன்சிலிங், இல்லை இண்டிவிஜுவல் கவுன்சிலிங் வந்திருக்காங்க. I was like, oh nice அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு it was very different. And early stages of starting Love Hope வந்து we've had a couple who was just crossing by the space and board மட்டும் பார்த்துட்டு இந்த மென்டல் வெல்னஸ் ஏதோ போட்டிருக்கீங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு they just came in. ஓகே கப்பிள்ஸ் கவுன்சிலிங் இருக்கா அப்படின்னாங்க. இருக்குது அப்படின்னு. அவங்க ஈஸியாக வந்து early 50s 2 பேருமே இருப்பாங்க. And we had a therapist, they took up a session for like 2 hours, and then the gentleman came out and he was just asking me who was running this place. I said Nanda அப்படின் போது he was just asking எதனால ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணீங்க, what is your experience and everything. சொன்னதுக்கப்புறம் he said, why I came here. Apparently the couple were heading toward the lawyer office to get a divorce.
Oh God.
அவங்களோட பசங்களுக்கு all of them are like married and settled. So they felt like lately நிறைய சண்டை இதெல்லாம் வந்துருக்கணும். At this point நம்ம ஒன்றா சேர்ந்து இருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. You take care of your life, I'll take care of my life. Kids are all settled அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு மியூச்சுவலாக பேசி they want to get a divorce. But in this therapy, they understood that the wife was going through menopause, and that's why she had a lot of emotional breakdown. And then she was looking for was his support. More ஒரு கம்பேனியன்ஷிப் டைம் நிறைய ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண இந்த மாதிரி அவங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன் இருந்து. அண்ட் தென் த தெரபிஸ்ட் கைடட் ஹிம் டு ஸ்பீக் டு அ கைனகாலஜிஸ்ட் அண்ட் கெட் த சப்போர்ட் தட் ஷீ நீடு. ஸோ இது வந்து ஒரு 2 hours செஷனில் அவங்க டிவோர்ஸ் வாங்க வேண்டிய ஒரு கப்பல் வந்து திஸ் ஹஸ் ஹேப்பன் டு
மை காட்.
அண்ட் தென் தே கண்டினியூட் கமிங் ஹியர் ஃபார் கப்பல் ஆஃப் அதர் செஷன்ஸ் as well. So again I felt like இது ஒரு காலிங் மாதிரி தான், ரைட்? It has to happen both the ways. இப்போ ஒரு பக்கம் நம்ம என்ன தான் அவேர்னஸ் ஸ்ப்ரெட் பண்ணாலுமே அது ஒருத்தவங்க அக்செப்ட் பண்ணி ஓகே லெட் மீ கிவ் இட் அ ஷார்ட் அண்ட் கொடுக்கணும். அதுக்கு ஏஜோ இல்லை வந்து எனி அதர் ஃபேக்டர் ஷுட் நாட் பி அ ரீசன். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி லாட் ஆஃப் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் which has changed my perspective towards life a lot. Absolutely. And luckily எங்களோட ஒர்க் ஸ்பேஸும் சரி, எங்களோட சென்டர் since it's in the same space, I get to interact with a lot of people and everyone comes from different walks of life. But எல்லாருக்குமே we're all longing towards a common goal. We all want companionship. Absolutely. We all want to be acknowledged, validated with what we are going through. And dark phase la vandu to look for something that gives us hope and telling us that okay this is just a phase, you'll be fine அப்படின்றது. இதுதான் வந்து எந்த ஏஜ் குரூப்ல இருந்து யார் வந்தாலுமே எங்களோட கிளைண்ட்ஸ்க்கு like base level this is what people expect. And that's why we run communities as well, for people to not feel alone in their journey. No matter what, even if you don't find a solution, just knowing that you have people going through similar experiences gives a lot of strength.
Yeah.
So அந்த understanding வந்து more than business start பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த understandingக்கும் over the journey எங்களோட purpose வந்து நிறைய define ஆச்சு. எங்களோட மிஷனும் சரி, எங்களோட vision of what we want to build out of Love Hope completely changed with a lot of interactions with our clients.
It's amazing. I think to keep in trend with what is happening. Now always we come with experiences, but when we look at other people's experiences with us, it completely changes our perspective of how we look at things. Talk about mental health changing in our society today.
I think there's a lot of change or a lot of openness in having these conversations. But then a lot of people think mental health care na it's only therapy abdina. So that is something that I have a different opinion on. Therapy is one way of taking care of your mental health, but a lot of things that comes in place to have a good health. Physical health ku eppadi nama vandu or six pack வந்து நம்ம ஜிம்முக்கு போறோம். Once you have a six pack, you can't just go back to old habits and expect your body to be the same.
Correct.
Right? For that to sustain, you'll still have to have a very mindful lifestyle in terms of your sleep, your food, and all of that. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same with mental health. Therapy is one way of doing it. But consistently, வந்து நம்மளோட food habits இருக்கட்டும், sleep habits இருக்கட்டும், the kind of people we are surrounded with, the conversations we have, the content that we consume digitally, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு it has an impact on your mental health.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a day-to-day thing that we need to do for ourselves to keep our health in check. In which mental health is one angle of there's spiritual health, there's emotional health, there's physical health also.
Yeah.
But இப்போதான் mental health இந்த conversations ஆரம்பிச்சு இப்போதான் எல்லாரும் தெரப்பியை மட்டும் நோக்கி போயிட்டு இருக்காங்க. But I feel there are a lot of other things that people should consider while you talk about mental health as well.
இல்லை இந்த நீ இப்போ சொல்கிறது வந்து மேக்ஸ் அப்சல்யூட் சென்ஸ். ஏன்னா when you speak about your physique, you want a six pack சொல்லு. Absolutely right. We want the perfect pristine mental health. How can you just expect it to be? Unless you put in the effort.
Right.
And I must talk about the space that you have created here. When you say experience center, it's beyond it because there's so much natural light flowing in. It represents positivity as a whole. The first time I walked in, I remember I said, wow. I wish I would do something in this space, and I think today that was the reason I called and told you, Pooja, I want to do the interviews there. So much positivity, it emulates from you is what I feel. It's always the head, right? Head of an organization. At such a young age, for you to become somebody that people look up to. How has your journey been there? It comes with a lot of responsibility. We spoke about family responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility, right? For you to take. Please allow me to say that at a very young age, you're still under 30, so allow me to say, how do you feel about it, Pooja?
I think again, Gayu, in the last 8 years of my life, with the things that I've seen, with the things that I've experienced, I don't think age-க்கும் experience-க்கும் சம்மந்தம் இல்லைன்றது மட்டும் எனக்கு நல்லா தெரிஞ்சது. And to get to where I am today, I am grateful for all the other experiences. அதில் ஏதாவது ஒன்று மிஸ் ஆயிருந்தாலும் நான் இன்னைக்கு இங்கே எதிர்ப்பேனான்றது வந்துட்டு I don't know. I had to go through a lot of pain, but it has helped me find my purpose for life, which has given me a lot of peace today, I would say. The journey is not easy because this is something that we're trying to build புதுசா. This is not something ஒரு business that is set or SOP வச்சு இப்படி தான் பண்ணணும், இந்த ரோலுக்கு ஒரு ஆள் எடுக்கணும், இது இப்படி தான் ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகும். நம்ம it's a lot of experimentation that we're doing every single day with feedbacks that we get and everything. And I think one thing that I'm lucky is that we've attracted the right team also in place, be it the therapist or be it the team that we are working with. People who understand the vision, right? Because being the founder, having a vision and having the patience to drive this is different. But to be a part of someone else's vision and having the same level of patience and understanding to be a part of their journey is extremely, it's very challenging and very different as well. அதுவும் இப்போ இருக்கிற phase of life when people are constantly running behind something or achievements or success is very different, right?
Correct.
That way I think I'm very lucky. And now the strength or like you said, the vibe that you feel in this place, I definitely cannot take credit just by myself. Every single person who steps in here, from the clients, from the therapists, from the team, we work towards the common goal. And I think it has to do with a lot of healing energy that is the center. And the work that we do itself, right? Kids varvanga. It's very interesting when we have in the weekend sessions, we look forward to it, the interactions that we have with them. Over a therapy room, no matter what the journey of the person is, we make sure that we give them the love and hope that they're looking for. So together, the kind of work we do itself is something that wants to give people or a hope towards whatever they're going through. I think it radiates within the space as well.
And so beautifully. There is no, I won't say, I've come here so many times since inception. I've never once felt the energy was ever low. It feels so nice to, be a part of a space like this. You spoke about creating teams that, that emulate the same energy, right? Tell me about your journey as an entrepreneur, creating teams, sustaining teams, and attrition. It's a huge problem when it comes to running business. From an entrepreneur point of view, how have you been dealing with it? Is there a takeaway that you would like to share with other entrepreneurs? How do you deal with it? What do you do?
So I think at least in the early stage of running a startup, you really have a very good connect with your team. It can't just be about just giving them salaries every month starting. இதுக்கு தானே நீங்கள் வந்திருக்கீங்க, இதுக்கு நாங்கள் பண்ணுறோம், ஸோ அதனால் நீங்கள் இந்த ஒர்க் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணுன்ற I don't think it would work out. It should be an exchange between both of us, right? So they are here for me for a reason. So I expect certain things from them. At the same time, they have certain kind of expectations from me or from Love Hope as a brand. Beyond monetary benefits, they might look for experience, they might look for guidance, they might just look for a space where வீட்டில் நிறைய பிரச்சனை இருந்துட்டு ஒர்க் ஸ்பேஸ் அவங்களுக்கு பீஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கணும்னு நினச்சி இங்கே ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருக்கலாம். And especially when we're in a mental health space, I can't have a toxic work culture here while talking about mental health outside.
Of course.
At the same time, with the businessன்றதால, we need to still keep running behind targets or doing certain things.
Absolutely.
Right? So in the balance identify பண்றது வந்துட்டு it's definitely challenging. But one thing as a base level motto that I have is I do not want to force anyone to stay with me. அவங்க அக்ரிமெண்ட்ல போட்டானோ இல்லை வந்து அவங்க 2 months notice period கொடுக்கணும்னு நினைச்சாலும் if a person is not willing to do that for whatever reasons, I let them go.
Okay.
At that point அந்த வேலை நிற்கும் or அந்த limited resources வச்சு அடுத்தவங்க வந்து எடுத்து பண்ண வேண்டியதாக இருக்கும் or அவங்க வந்து ப்ராப்பராக டாக்குமெண்ட் பண்ணாமல் போயிருப்பாங்க. So we'll have to like go through a lot of things and sit and work. But it's okay. Rather than having unhappy person within the team for whatever reason, letting them go whenever they want to and giving space to the right kind of person to come in. And also not having an expectation to have this team with you forever. Like always being prepared that okay, they'll be there. I need to give the best experience for them. They will give the best back to me. And when it's time, let go. And let new people come in. Either one, I think is a major learning that I've had over the journey. And it's not just with my team, in life also, right? Force panna, it won't happen.
It will not work.
And it should be mutual. அது பிரியணும்னாலும் சரி சேர்ந்து இருக்கணும்னாலும் சரி அப்படி இருந்தாலும் you can work towards what you want to build. And like we said, இதில் வந்து இந்த ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டின்றது it's just not for me, for every single person in the team, and they should feel that responsibility. It's not just like taking in clients and connecting with the therapist. It's beyond that. ஒருத்தவங்களோட மைண்ட் செட் எப்படி இருக்கும், why do they come here for help? இது வந்து ஒரு சர்வீஸ் ஃபார் ஆல் ஆஃப் அஸ் டு டூ. ஸோ இது வந்து தெரபிஸ்ட்க்கு எந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டிக்கோ அதே அளவுக்கு ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி இங்கே ஒர்க் பண்ணுற எல்லாருக்குமே இருக்கு. From Akka who's maintaining the space for the client to feel that experience or to feel calm and come here, space or mind நம்ம கச்ச வச்சாலும் it will not work out. But அவங்க உள்ள வரும்போதே they might not have that understanding. So my role here is to make people understand why we are doing certain things. It's not just about keeping the space clean, but why are we doing it? Absolutely. It's not just about being an admin for whatever we're doing. Why are we doing it? It's not just about marketing what we're doing, but why are we doing it?
So going back to the drawing board every single time.
Every single day. And இதுலயே நிறைய மாறும். Every single day ஒன்று யோசிச்சு நான் ஒன்று ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவோம். But the way it's looked or perceived by a client or social media can be very different. We might get feedbacks. We've always been open to getting feedbacks and we think about it. Is it something that we'll have to consider and rework on however we've built whatever we've done into the one? We've always been open to it. So I think that way having a right set of team who's open to learning every single day is more than enough for you. Over the journey you'll figure it out. போவாங்க இருக்கிறவங்க இருப்பாங்க. But this will sustain or this should growன்றதுல I think as a founder is my job. Just putting the right people at the right time and letting go of the right people at the right time.
That's so important. Yeah. I think to bring that bring that understanding, within is so difficult to get to. But once you get it, I think you also make systems, come into place to help you with that. Yeah.
And I also feel ஒரு நாள் இங்க work பண்ணாலும் அந்த ஒரு நாள் they've contributed something for us. So I should be grateful for it. I can't, either for whatever reason they leave me, I can't be like இவ்ளோ expect.
That's actually very big of you to say. I mean, it's interesting for me because they were here, they were அந்த மாதிரி ரொம்ப இதுவா சொல்லாம you're saying that they've contributed. See, that's that shows.
I've had certain negative experiences as well, but I don't crib about it too much. I don't take it personally because இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் they have
done their part.
They've been something for the space or for the company that we're running. யாருமே வந்து they've not from day one ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணலன்னு அப்படி they've never been there. So அதனால when the timing is right or when it's not working out, we've always like okay, whatever, we had a healthy conversation and இது வரைக்கும் பெருசா ஒரு problematic-ஆ வந்து, and I think it's still too early. It's just been 1.5 years in this entrepreneurial journey. So, but so far this is something that has worked out for me with the team and all of us.
Every time I look at Pooja, I feel, my God, how is she so fearless? But if you can give me 3 lessons you have learned as an entrepreneur, what would it be for those who are starting out?
I think one is, if someone's telling you something, if it's a constructive criticism, you can always take it in. Certain things you don't even have to